Have you ever had one of those days in which you take care of one thing, and just as soon as you think, I can take a breath and take a rest, something else comes up, and it goes on for the entire day. You're thinking, just give me a break. Parents, recall in your life raising your children. As you know, there's one thing after another. Even at the job, pressures to perform, the pressure to raise the bar. Always something. It's almost like there's never a time to take a break. It's always you push the throttle down as fast as we can go. There's always something to do. However, growing up as a child in the summer, after parents said that's enough TV time, it was always to say, there's nothing to do. What can I do? Oh, how I could live those times again when I did not have anything to do. Even Jesus and his disciples ran into this scenario. Here they were, Jesus had sent the disciples out on a mission to go evangelize, to go preach, and that's what they were doing. And then he called them back, and then they were going to talk about what they had done, the joys of what had happened, and then they were going to take some time to rest. They were going to celebrate and take a break. And what happens? They get in a boat, they go to a distant place, and right before they get there, all these people are waiting there for them already. Can you imagine? Probably the disciples said, when is it going to stop? I want to take a break. And perhaps Jesus was saying the same thing. But then we hear in the gospel, he saw the crowd. His heart was moved with pity for them. They were yearning for something. And Jesus could read their hearts. They were yearning to be guided. They were looking for someone to help them to see more meaning to life than just the daily grind. And at that moment, as Jesus saw them, he says, they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. At that moment, even though Jesus was tired, had other things planned to be with his disciples, at that moment, his personal concerns and needs took a back seat to the needs of others. He looked on them with compassion. And when we think about that word, he looked upon them with compassion. The word compassion means to suffer with. Jesus is not saying, come to me, I have all the answers, I am superior over you. Jesus saying, I want to walk with you. I want to walk with you. I want to have compassion. I have compassion with you. Think about how that plays out in our daily lives. Parents of children, the needs, no matter what goes on, what kind of day you've had, the needs of your children come first. Even when tired and weary. The same can be said of adult children who are caring for their aged parents. Parents come first. That compassion is seen as a child is sick or has surgery, even though although the child is in physical pain, the parent feels for their child, having compassion, suffering with. And Jesus looks on us with compassion. Jesus is with us in our hectic lives. in the job, in the family, making it through the day. Jesus looks upon us with compassion, and Jesus is there. Jesus, as he is with us, he knows the ups and downs of life. He knows in this world that we live in, being very chaotic and hectic and busy, almost never taking a breath to rest. And Jesus says, the plans I have, I put aside so that I can be with you. We think about that in our lives, that we see others with compassion. We see others walking with them more than just, well, I need to fix their problem, or it's their problem. It can go either way. But Jesus tells us to be with the person. Jesus tells us to be with the person. And that's our call also, to have compassion. To have compassion with the other, for and with the other person. Even when it means putting our plans aside. And we know when we have plans, we want to follow through with them. It's hard to put those aside because I want to do what I need to do. But Jesus, in that same way, he wanted simply to go into the boat, get to the other side, be with his disciples and friends, and rest and talk about the good news. But he saw the crowd was moved. The crowd disembarked, and he saw their heart. And he was moved with pity. And that we might have that compassion with others. The grace to be with others in the midst of our busy lives. Not to be seen as a workaholic, where we just keep working and working and doing and doing and going and going, and whether it be with others, whether it be by ourselves, but it is with the grace to be with and minister to others. Seeing others with compassion. Seeing others with the eyes of compassion. For Jesus knows he sees us with the compassion. He knows the busyness of life, the chaos of life, how hectic it can be. And Jesus is there with us, gracing us. Jesus graces us with that call as we receive from Jesus to be compassionate with others, to look upon them with kindness and care. And yes, we might have our own ideas of what I want to do. When situations come up, when family comes up, when concerns come up, is to look upon them with compassion and care and to act with them and for them. Jesus is the one who graces us to be able to minister to others, seeing others as with compassion, as Jesus sees us, for he looked upon them with compassion.